My phone buzzed at 6:03 a.m., the marina security guard's name flashing on the screen. Before he could speak, a muffled cackle and the hiss of spray paint on metal cut through the line. "You need to get down here now," he stammered, his voice a mix of panic and embarrassment, like a man caught witnessing something he'd rather forget. I was already pulling on my boots, mentally cataloging what could rattle a grown man at this hour on a Saturday. I'd spent a year dodging the HOA's petty crusades, fines for my mailbox's unapproved shape, complaints about my deck's non-conforming teal chairs, but this was different. His tone wasn't the usual bureaucratic irritation. It was fear tinged with humiliation. "It's your boat. It's bad. You got to see it," he managed before the line went dead. "I live 4 minutes from Willow Bay Marina." As I sped through the pre-dawn fog, I braced for the worst, convincing myself it couldn't top the time Patricia Hayes threatened to tow my truck for its aggressive camouflage wrap. I was wrong. Pulling into the marina, I nodded at the guard, his face pale under the sodium lights, and strode down the ramp to my slip, adrenaline spiking. There she was, Patricia, the HOA's iron-fisted president, standing like a conqueror beside my Navy surplus patrol boat, a vessel I'd restored to museum-grade perfection over years. One hand clutched a dripping spray can. The other planted defiantly on her hip, a budget store Statue of Liberty. My boat's hull, once a proud gray, was now a garish canvas of neon orange graffiti, HOA rules. No word junk. Protect property values. A crowd was gathering, dog walkers, early risers, 2 HOA board members looking like they regretted answering Patricia's 5 a.m. text. She spotted me, her smirk unwavering, and launched into a rehearsed tirade about community standards and teaching, entitled Veterans, a Lesson. I said nothing, just pulled out my phone and started recording, letting her words pile up like kindling. Her confidence flickered as my camera lingered, but she pressed on, spraying another jagged, "Respect the rules," across the bow. The guard muttered, "Maybe wait for the police." But Patricia turned on him, eyes blazing, as if he'd challenged her to a duel. The police arrived fast, likely drawn by the dispatcher's disbelief. Patricia didn't flinch. Smiling with smug certainty, she pulled her HOA bylaws from a tote bag stuffed with color swatches and her signature threatening letters. She waved highlighted pages and a hand-drawn map marking my slip as a value-diminishing eyesore. I handed the officers my deed, permits, and a stack of city emails confirming my boat's status as a registered historic vessel. Patricia's jaw twitched as the cops explained private property law. Her real estate agent pass, apparently forgotten in her zeal. By sunrise, the marina was a circus, neighbors snapping photos, whispers spreading. The HOA's Facebook group was already buzzing. Patricia went live, twisting the narrative, "If he wants to play sailor, let's see how he handles real consequences." I let her dig deeper, calling a friend in federal law enforcement, a perk of my Navy days. I sent him photos of the vandalism and waited. Watching Patricia brandish her spray can like a scepter, proclaiming, "We don't tolerate trash here," the mood shifted when an officer noticed Patricia's car, idling across a fire lane as if rules didn't apply to her. The board members, call them Greg and Linda, started edging away, their faces heavy with regret. Then an FBI SUV rolled in, silencing the crowd. Patricia barely noticed, too busy arguing her community authority with the cops. The agent, all suit and sunglasses, surveyed the scene, then turned to me with a nod. "Ma'am," he said to Patricia, "do you know what this boat is?" She scoffed, waving her phone. "An eyesore. A danger to kids, probably armed." The agent's eyebrow arched as he reviewed my paperwork. "This is federal property, a retired Navy vessel with protected status. You've crossed into federal jurisdiction." The crowd gasped. Linda muttered about a book club emergency and fled. Patricia's face paled, but she doubled down, accusing me of weaponizing my military past. The dock was cordoned off, yellow tape fluttering like a warning flag. The FBI cataloged Patricia's graffiti, focusing on a Navy insignia she tried to obscure. "That's a federal emblem," the agent said. "You're in deep." Neighbors' phones, once aimed at my boat, now tracked Patricia's unraveling. Greg, the HOA treasurer, whispered to her, "This is too much, Pat. Apologize. Pay for it." She shot him a look that could have melted steel. "I did this for us. He's the problem." The cops took statements. Greg admitted Patricia's 5 a.m. Operation Beautification call, swearing he didn't mean vandalism. Linda confessed to ignoring Patricia's plan, hoping it'd fizzle. The guard admitted he froze, fearing Patricia's wrath. By noon, her live stream's comments turned hostile, neighbors sharing their own HOA horror stories. A next-door poll, should the HOA control the marina? Sat at 92% no. Patricia's empire was crumbling, but she kept swinging, accusing me of hiding weapons. The agent inspected my boat's empty lockers, nodded, and said, "She's the issue, not you." As the sun climbed, Patricia's bravado cracked. Realizing federal charges loomed, she went gray, threatening to sue everyone who'd filmed her. The agent coolly noted she'd streamed it herself. "Get a lawyer, ma'am," he said. The marina, once a haven of quiet sunsets, was now a spectacle, news vans circling, a city councilman arriving to field angry calls. My boat, battered but proud, stood at the center. Neighbors I'd never met offered sympathy. One left a note, "Thank you for your service and your patience." At dusk, the crowd thinned, but Patricia's voice echoed, shrill, begging her board to rally. No one listened. I drove home, the weight of the day settling, knowing this wasn't over. Patricia's reign was teetering, but desperation makes people dangerous. The next morning, my phone erupted, texts, calls, a news station voicemail wanting my story for the 6 a.m. broadcast. I ignored them, brewing coffee strong enough to wake the dead, staring at my lakeside view. My inbox overflowed with screenshots of Patricia's meltdown, HOA members' panic, and an FBI email requesting a formal statement. The marina was still taped off, my boat a neon-streaked crime scene. It had taken months to restore, but the insult stung worse than the costly erasure of my history in orange paint. The FBI agents, looking sleepless, took my account, my video, and Patricia's saved stream. They noted her phrase, teaching him a lesson, exchanging glances. "Any prior threats?" one asked. I laughed, pointing to a glove box stuffed with HOA violation notices. "Take your pick." They wanted copies, hinting this was bigger than vandalism. The FBI had been eyeing the HOA for weeks, tips about harassment, fund misuse, veteran discrimination. My boat was just the flashpoint. By midday, the story went viral, city subreddit, local radio, then national outlets with headlines like HOA Tyrant Targets Vets Navy Boat and FBI Probes Marina Vandalism Scandal. My Navy buddies texted, "Need backup for this war." The HOA board imploded. Greg called an emergency meeting without Patricia, a first in its history. Linda's resignation email read, "I didn't sign up for this." The group chat, once Patricia's weapon, turned chaotic with residents sharing years of her abuses, fines for lawn shades, threats over wind chimes, a gnome cited as a public nuisance. Patricia's manifesto, posted across social platforms, called herself a martyr against mob justice and accused Greg of betrayal. It backfired. Comments flooded with neighbors' stories, some posting her threatening emails. The chat became a support group for her victims. That night, security called, "She's back." I arrived to find Patricia alone in paint-stained clothes, scrubbing my boat's hull with grim determination. She looked up, defiance warring with shame. "You win," she spat. "But you've ruined this community." I told her I just wanted to be left alone. For a moment, her mask slipped. "I wanted order. People used to care about rules," she said, voice small. Then she tossed her brush into a bucket and left, footsteps hollow on the dock. The next day, her lawyer sent a letter threatening to sue me for emotional distress and slander. I forwarded it to the FBI and my attorney, who advised silence. The letter leaked online, mocked mercilessly. Residents came forward, blackmail over bird feeders, pool access threats for not funding Patricia's beautification. The dominoes fell fast. The real blow came 4 days in. The FBI and city investigators uncovered a storage unit in Patricia's name stuffed with missing HOA property, street signs, landscaping tools, even a marina gate lock blamed on kids. A safe held forged letters, fake fines, and a threat addressed to me: military trash isn't welcome. Comply or face headaches. At a tense marina office meeting with Greg, a new board member, Patricia, and her frazzled lawyer, the FBI laid out the evidence: fraud, harassment, forgery, vandalism. Patricia denied it all, blaming Greg, the guard, even me. The agent cut her off: "We have your footage." Her defiance crumbled. Greg stared at the floor. The city suspended the HOA, scheduling a transparent election. Patricia stormed out, her lawyer muttering apologies. That night, neighbors threw a block party at the marina: banners, music, burgers. Kids swam. Adults shared Patricia horror stories. Someone raised a Navy signal flag on my boat, a cheer erupting. The FBI agent shook my hand: "You've got patience most don't." As we spoke, a commotion broke out. Officers led Patricia, clutching her binder, to a car. She saw me, and her bravado collapsed. She fainted, officers catching her. Laughter from the party drowned out the silence. My boat would take months to fix. The HOA was in ruins, but the fear Patricia wielded was gone. Neighbors connected, laughed, healed. Yet, as I drove home, a chill lingered. The FBI's audit hinted at deeper schemes. Patricia's storage unit held documents tied to a real estate firm eyeing marina land. She'd been a pawn in a bigger game. The war was won, but the battlefield wasn't clear. I locked my slip, wondering what shadows still waited.